One of my favourite cars of last year was the Audi RS5 Coupe. It was a car that was as good hammering it around a track as it was driving politely through traffic. But Audi, being Audi, weren't happy with that achievement, so instead they've gone and made another version that doesn't have any hope of being as good as the original. The RS5 Cabriolet. With its folding fabric roof and accompanying compromised chassis, I don't hold out much hope of this car being as satisfying as the hardtop. I've certainly been wrong before, but even looking at this car doesn't fill me with the same sense of tingly excitement, and again, it's because of the roof. There is one line amongst the RS5 Coupe's many, many beautiful lines that is particularly good. It's the sweep of the C-pillar from the roof to the boot lid. But because they can't replicate that line with a fabric hood, it's just been deleted. But then again, I suppose this car is designed to be appreciated with the roof down. And it still has all the true RS trademarks: twin oval exhaust outlets, lots of skirting, hexagonal grille, bulging wheel arches housing some very nice wheels. The running lights up front still have the same menacing look, and even though this version loses some of the hardcore appeal of the original, it's still fairly imposing. And they've kept all the other important bits too. It's still got the same 4.2-litre V8 with 331 kilowatts that gives this car 0 to 100 time of under 5 seconds. It's still got quattro all-wheel drive, and this car is fitted with the optional sports differential that makes things even better. This test car is also fitted with the optional sports exhaust, and that completely obliterates the idea that the RS5 can be a polite member of society. It's a sound you just don't get tired of, although you don't have the chance to hear very much of it in the city, where traffic conspires to keep the revs down and the fuel consumption up. It's never going to be an eco-warrior, this car, but even so, Audi's claimed combined cycle fuel consumption figure of 10.9 litres per 100 k's seems a tad optimistic. Similarly optimistic is any thought that Audi's engineers have managed to overcome the lack of rigidity that a convertible chassis is born with. One of the best things about the RS5 Coupe was a chassis that told you what was going on in every corner of the car all the time. Now this car obviously has the same chassis, but that blessing has become a bit of a curse in here, because whereas in the Coupe it's all about grip and feedback, in this car it's all about flexing and shaking. And it's virtually inescapable. At various speeds, over various surfaces, in various conditions, you can't help but notice how the RS5 Cabriolet just doesn't feel as good as the hardtop. The way the rearview mirror transmits every ripple in the road just amplifies the feeling of uncertainty you get behind the wheel. So it's fast becoming apparent that this Audi RS model isn't the one for you if you're more interested in driving than cruising. But just in case you are more interested in cruising, the interior has got you covered. Besides its sporty bits like the carbon fibre and the bucket seats, there is decent luxury and plenty of toys to keep you comfortable. And if you don't like posing on your own, you can actually fit 4 people in here. The roof drops in 15 seconds, the optional Drive Select system has a comfort setting, and despite its sports car genes, it can be a comfortable ride, if you manage to ignore the disconcerting chassis shakes. And if you can't, well, there's a secret to driving the RS5 Cabriolet, and it becomes apparent when you really start driving it. Just like the lesser S5 feels pretty ordinary at low speed and then gets better the harder you drive it, the RS5 only really starts tightening up when you start exploring what it can do. It kind of puts me in mind of those old school supersonic pilots that had aircraft that threatened to shake and rattle themselves to bits as they approached the sound barrier. But then as soon as they were through that sonic boom, everything started behaving like it should. That's what it's like in here, besides the sonic boom, of course, because even though the RS5 possesses the kind of power and speed that makes you believe you can go supersonic, it's limited to a top speed of just 280. But what's impressive is the way it all comes together when you add that power to a challenging road. When this car is being pushed, the chassis shows off its abilities and starts to feel less like a shaky, uncertain construction and more like the potent performer it's supposed to be. I had my misgivings about the Audi RS5 Cabriolet from the start because a removable roof means a compromised chassis, and that's not a good thing in any car, let alone one that's designed to perform. The Cabriolet looks as good as the coupe and it sounds as good as well, but you really have to push this car to find out what it's really about, and that means it's not as enjoyable on an everyday basis.
The 4.2 V8 has immense power, and the optional sports exhaust system makes it sound better than ever. For the most part, the RS5 Cabriolet is a good-looking, comfortable car, but you'd need a bit of confidence and some open space to enjoy it as fully as the coupe.